Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, beautiful ones. Hello.
Hello.
So good to see you, loves. So for those who don't know me, I'm Karen Rockheim, and my sister Stacy and I have popped on, so we'll just wait for us to see her. This is a beautiful time. It's a good time to ensure that you have a journal with you, that you have water or some tea. I always really love to have a candle lit. Something that really brings you into this space, that brings you here and brings you here now. So welcome. We will take a moment while women are coming onto the call, and then we will begin. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I think I'll just do a little bit of muting. Yeah.
Hi, Karen.
Lucy, it's so good to see your beautiful face.
Lovely to see you too, my dear. It's been too long.
Wow. I was so happy for you to read that you were moving, and so sad for me.
Me too. But hopefully you're welcome here anytime. I'll see you again.
You are my favorite city. So.
Oh yeah, really? Good.
You're in San Francisco, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I moved to San Diego actually.
Oh, San Diego. Well, it's
not that far.
Too.
Anything in California, I know.
Right, exactly.
For me too. Yeah.
There she is.
Hello.
Hi, beauty.
Hi. Hi, Karina. I see Karina from Austin, Texas is here. Jessica and Jennifer, Nicole, Denise, Lucy, Stephanie.
All over. It's just so beautiful to see your faces. You're going to hear from Stacy and I that we have been dreaming of doing this for 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
And so, like, to see all of your faces show up for Divine Feminine is really a gift.
Yes.
So, so I was saying, as you come onto the call, it's a really good time to ensure you have some water or tea, that you have your journal, or whatever it is that you like to jot down sparks and notes that come to you. And I like to have a candle lit. And then we will go ahead and we will say, shall we begin?
Yeah.
Okay.
And some linear details. If you have background noise, you can always mute yourself. And then if you're on the video, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see something that says chat. If you click on chat, you'll have the option to chat. So if you have any questions or have any reflections, you can share there. So I just wanted to take a minute and just present everyone that's on the call. Looks like there's 24 people joining us live right now. I know more will join, and I know that there are many of you joining us with the recording. So I just want to present everyone who is with us live and also watching the recording. And it's amazing, this Zoom technology allows us to really be timeless and move through space to connect with each other, no matter where we are on the planet and no matter when we're watching this. So I just want to deeply welcome everyone. And if you are on the video, if you can type your name and let us know where you are, that would be great. Stacy Hoffer, and I am in Philadelphia right now. It's where I'm currently living. And so wherever you are on the planet, just type in your name and let us know where you are. And if you're on the phone, I think Karen's going to unmute everyone. So if you just want to say hi and let us know where you are, it's always good whenever we're meeting through this video technology to just tap into where we are on the planet. It helps us center and ground in.
Yeah, I'm from Houston, and
Hi, Loretta in Arlington.
can you say that again, love? Having a hard time hearing you, but
Welcome.
welcome. You see Nicole from San Jose, from San Diego, Francine from Lewis, Susan from Cincinnati. I know we have a couple of Ohio people. Denise, I know you're from Cleveland.
Hi, everybody. Denise, Cleveland, Ohio.
Hi. Welcome.
Welcome. Beautiful. So as you're coming on, we would love if you have ability to chat. We love to presence where everyone is coming from. And some of you are on the phone, so you can't chat, and feel free. Anyone else want to tell us where you're from if you're on the phone and your name?
California.
California.
DJ's here from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Yeah, hey DJ from Canada.
Hey, it's Jackie from New York.
Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi. Hi, it's Brenda in Miami.
Hey, Brent in Miami.
Hello.
We are certainly.
Hi, this is Julie from Ohio.
Hi, Julie from Ohio. Fun.
So fun. We have a lot of.
Hi,
Sorry, go ahead, hon.
this is Wendy. It's Wendy. Hi. I'm currently in Chicago.
Oh, hi, Wendy, but Wendy from Atlanta.
Wendy from Atlanta, but currently in freezing Chicago. Hi.
Oh, hi, love.
Love, so good to hear your voice.
So good to hear your voice. Well, as everyone's getting settled in, I just want to just give everyone the rundown of what the flow is going to be for the call. Karen is going to start us off by just sharing a little bit about how this came to be and how we met and how kind of the divine feminine has flowed into us and into our lives. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what the divine feminine is and what does it mean to embody the divine feminine. And then, Karen and I spent 13 moons studying and embodying and deepening with the divine feminine. And today we have 60 minutes. So we're going to focus in on 3 really key aspects of the divine feminine and what it means to us and how it has helped us release fear and step into our power and live in more alignment with our heart and souls. And then we're going to open up space for any questions that you may have. So if you have questions during our call, you can put them into the chat or just note them, and then we'll have time at the end to connect more.
And also, hopefully you'll be able to stay until the end. We have an opportunity that we've been dreaming up about how we can continue to do these kinds of calls together. So,
but first, Karen is going to just slow everything down. We've all had busy days, and so Karen is just going to presence us. And just one of the things in the feminine is to slow down so fast that we often forget to pause.
Thanks, Stacy. It is a feminine, it is a feminine power, really, to be able to slow down and come out of that chaos and into your mind to settle. and come into our heart and into our souls. And so what we want to do, we will just spend a couple of moments slowing down, breathing, really short meditation, if you will, so that we all are fully here. And we're all fully present. And then this is how we come into this space together and co-create this space, as opposed to being out there in the chaotic world with so much going on. So I want to invite you now, if you will join me in getting comfortable in your seat. And you can lean back against some pillows or against your chair, wherever you are. And feel your feet gently yet firmly planted on the floorboards below you. Imagining, if you will, that you're almost like a beautiful tree that is grounded or rooted into this moment, feeling those roots now begin to grow deep, deep, deep below your feet and into the earth below you. And you can feel your hands placed gently on your lap. And if you're comfortable doing so, then gently close your eyes. And if you're not comfortable doing so, or you're driving and you're in a place where you can't close your eyes, then just gently gaze ahead. Why don't we begin by just dropping out of our minds and dropping into our breath. And take a moment and just simply notice your breath. Notice that soft inhale in through your nose and that beautiful exhale that relaxes your entire body. Together now, let's take a few deep breaths so that we clear out our mind, we clear out anything that's not serving us. And we're going to inhale in deeply through our nose and exhale out of our mouth. So together, let's inhale, bringing in fresh, cool, clean air into our veins and our arteries, our entire body, and exhale out of your mouth. Letting go, relaxing, letting go of anything that does not serve you in this moment. Another deep inhale in through your nose. This time bringing that fresh air, that stillness into your heart, opening your heart chakra, and exhale out of your mouth. Releasing any chaos of the day, releasing any stress. Just allow yourself to sink further into this moment. One more deep inhale in through your nose. This time bringing fresh, cool, clean air into every cell of your body and feel every cell expand with that stillness, that slowness, that quiet, that strength. And exhale out of your mouth. Releasing, relaxing, letting go. Just let all of the air out of your belly and into your tiptoes. And we'll allow our breath now to return to a resting pace, letting ourselves further sink into this moment. Imagining, if you will, that we are literally standing in a circle of women, as women have done for thousands of years. Women gathered in circle to support one another, to cheerlead one another, to help one another with raising their families and their challenges and their triumphs. And so in this moment, as you sink into your breath, just imagine that we are standing in circle on beautiful ground, feeling your feet ground into this space that we are co-creating, allowing your entire body, allowing your mind, allowing your heart to be here now. This is your time for you. So take a moment, and on your next inhale, simply to say to yourself, I am here. And then as you inhale again, say to yourself, I am here now. And then one more breath, we will inhale in love. Love for ourselves, love for sisterhood, love for humanity. And then as you exhale out gratitude that we get to do this. We get to gather in sisterhood. We get to slow down and connect with the truth of who we are as divine women walking this earth. Blessed be. When you're ready, my loves, wiggle your fingers and toes and gently open your eyes, coming back into this space. Welcome here now. So I mentioned at the beginning of the call that Stacy and I have been really dreaming about this for a couple of years. And we came to the Divine Feminine, each of us through our own path, each of us previously having corporate careers. Stacy can share her own story. And then something inside of us, something in our heart, in our soul, saying to us that each of us separately, we didn't even know each other, that there was more that we were here to do on earth. And there was like a calling, and there's something, and it's, you know, it got to a point where it's like, I can't even take this, you know, my current life anymore. And each of us separately started really diving into our own work as self-love coaches, as guides, as women's empowerment coaching. And a few years ago, it turns out Stacy and I are both from the Detroit area. But we never knew each other. We went to the same summer camp, but we never knew each other. Right after college, Stacy went to Israel for a year with my sister, but we didn't know each other. And then a few years ago, a mutual friend posted on Facebook, the two of you post all of the same stuff about self-love and about women's power and divine feminine. You really need to know each other. And so we connected on the phone, and it turned out that we had the same mentor. And Stacy was living in Chicago and I was living in New York. And our mentor, quite separately, started talking to each of us about the divine feminine. And I remember when she said to me the word priestess. And our mentor said to me, Karen, I want to talk to you about being a priest, what it is to be a priestess. And I said, I don't even know what that word means, but the answer is yes. It was something rang so true in every cell of my body that is who I am and have been for lifetimes. And I didn't even know what the heck I was saying. I just knew there's something so powerful here. And separately, and Stacy can share her own story, or maybe later it will come out. And each of us heard the call that there was that there was a way of living in the feminine, and that there was a powerful feminine that neither one of us had tapped into, that we each were wanting. And so from Stacy in Chicago saying yes, and me in New York saying yes, we each said yes, that we were going to work with our mentor over 13 moons, which is a little over a year, to really learn about and embody the divine feminine. I didn't even know what the heck it meant. I just, yes. And it just so happens that as soon as each one of us said yes, Stacy's husband got relocated to Philadelphia, and my then boyfriend and I decided, and he lived in Philadelphia. And it turns out that Stacy and I moved to Philadelphia at the exact same time. And it just so happens that we each separately chose to live a 6-minute walk apart from each other. And it's like, this is the stuff you can't make up. We grew up in the same town. We didn't know each other. We've been following the same self-love and had the same mentor. And we dove into the divine feminine over a year together, living this close together. So as you see us in separate screens right now, our houses, I could probably put my hand out the window and be pretty close to touching her house. And so we have had this opportunity to not only journey with our mentor, but also to really do this, live it together. And so we've been really dreaming up and living in this divine feminine now for 3 years. And the magic of each one of us having lived kind of a very distorted masculine life, do, go for it, get it done, compete, win, get all A's, get the vice president, blah, 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 and then becoming so exhausted. And then each of us starting our own business, and in some ways still doing it that way. I started my own business as a women's empowerment coach and was still doing it in that just get it done, work harder, make it happen, do more programs. And I became completely exhausted. And even then I had some challenges in my life, a miscarriage, and I literally fell apart and my nervous system couldn't take it. And this is how I knew when our mentor said divine feminine, I knew that there was another way of being in the world that I really wanted to embrace and embody. Because I would see women who didn't have to scream or yell to be heard. And I would see women who had a presence. It was like an aura or an essence. And I just wanted to be around them. And I would come in contact with women who seemed to have such a deep knowing and such trust of following their heart that I was inspired. And so I came to this really wanting to know that is inside of me too, and how do I do that? And so there's this question, what is the divine feminine? So what is all that I just described? And Stacey, maybe you'll share from your perspective what the divine feminine is. Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, so as I was saying, we spent 13 moons deepening in the divine feminine, and kind of my assignment tonight was in a minute nutshell, defining the divine feminine for you. I've really been meditating on this and leaning into this today. And what's kind of coming through me is that the divine feminine is all about living in alignment with your natural essences, your true nature, your authentic self. And as Karen mentioned, I was in corporate America. I was having what I called conventional wisdom dysfunction. I was doing everything that everybody else was telling me to do, right? Get the job, get married, have the kids, get the bigger job, get the bigger house. And my soul was starving. Oh. And when I first learned about the divine feminine and I was learning about this natural expression of my true essences, the first piece of the divine feminine work and embodying the divine feminine is understanding what it is that your heart and soul desires. It's about attuning to your soul, slowing down enough to listen to what your natural gifts are. An example is my whole corporate job, my whole corporate career, I was always considered slow. If a client asked me a question, I would pause. And it wasn't valued. I needed a fast answer. And so I thought that the fact that I listened to myself for an answer was a weakness. And it wasn't until I started studying the divine feminine that I was able to have this realization that stillness and slowing down is actually a gift. And not only is it a gift, a natural gift that the divine has given me, but is actually now what I do to help other women slow down. Because we're living in such a fast-paced, crazy world. And when we attune to our hearts and to our souls and we open up for possibilities, it's when the magic happens. It's when my life shifted from the mundane to the magic. So the first step in deepening with the divine feminine and embodying the divine feminine is finding out what your true essences are. And then the second piece is aligning your life to those essences, which requires clearing the fear to actually live in alignment with your heart and soul, especially when your family, your mom, your husband, your coworkers, tell you otherwise. And I said, I'm going to leave my corporate job and help women live in alignment with their heart and soul desires. My mom and my husband and some other people in my life, didn't think that was quite a good idea. So part about embodying the divine feminine is that deep knowing, being really solid with who you are, and knowing that your presence is enough, that my gifts and my presence are enough, even if they don't match up to what the cultural society says they value. And even though the cultural society says they don't value stillness and slowing down, there's a yoga studio and a meditation studio and mindfulness programs popping up everywhere you look because it is valued. But it's valued differently. And that's a feminine superpower of slowing down and acting intentionally. Embodying the divine feminine is tapping into your intuition. So when my mentor once told me that intuition used to not be in the dictionary because it was a feminine superpower tool that couldn't be proven. And so it wasn't true. And if you can't prove it, it's not true. And so there's no such thing as intuition, but it is our birthright and it is our feminine power. And if I had to sum up the divine feminine in one word, it would be intuition. But it's oh so much more. It's oh so much more.
So beautifully said. Stace, thank you. I love that you summed it up in intuition because everything else falls from that. And as women, it's talked about a woman's intuition, a mother's intuition, and which, by the way, we are all mothers, whether you've birthed children or not. Every woman is mother because we have within us the capacity for unconditional love, the capacity for nurturing, the fierce protection of what is good. And so it all stems from trusting that intuition. And sometimes when you were speaking, Stacey, what came to me is the divine feminine is speaking and living from, if you all can see my belly, but from belly up and then out of our mouth, as opposed to the way that, like you said, in corporate, it was like, who can be talk faster? Da, 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 right? And that's the masculine and it's doing, and I love the masculine. I got a lot of masculine in me. But that's like come out of the head, whatever's in your head comes out of your mouth. And so what we're really doing is learning, and it's a remembering of that intuition within us and learning to trust it is what it comes down to. You know, there were so many aspects Stacey and I talked about, like we're doing a 1-hour call, an introduction, an awakening, to awaken to the divine feminine within you. There's too much, there's so much, how do we talk about it? And so we talked about sharing a couple of key aspects with you that have been most meaningful to us. And the first one is what we're doing right here and right now, which is coming together in sisterhood. And I'm just curious, maybe those of you on the computer, if you have access to chat, I'd be curious, as Stacey was talking, which aspects of what she talked about were really resonating with you. Maybe you have been doing the same thing where you've been in the grind, or maybe you've had a part of yourself that others didn't honor or didn't say was important, like intuition or stillness. For me, it was my whole life. I was, my family told me I was too sensitive. You're too sensitive. And it's like, well, I'm a woman. Heck yeah, I'm sensitive. And doesn't that make me like wonderful now, knowing what I do for a living? And another client I was speaking to, she was always told, wild child, you're just a wild child. And so she's become buttoned up. And it's like, well, part of the feminine is embracing our wild primal nature. So I would love to hear, as we go through this, are there pieces that speak to you? And I ask you this because the first aspect of the divine feminine is coming together and doing this in sisterhood. So for thousands and thousands of years, women came together and they supported one another. They shared secrets with one another. They shared how-to with one another, and they gathered in sacred ritual. And women actually were always meant to, if you think about your period, 28 days, it actually was always meant to go with the moon. And so a ritual was women coming together at the new moon and awakening into a whole new moon and a whole new month to come into what's true and to invite in being alive. And then women also gathered at the full moon, which was a celebration time of their lives and of what's true. And it's only in recent times that we've been trying to do everything alone, right? It's like you've got carpool to drive, you've got lunches to make, you've got reports to get to your employees and to your, you're trying to climb the corporate ladder, and you're trying to do it all with perfectly manicured fingernails and do it yourself. And it's become like it's not okay to get support, and it's not okay to ask for help, and it somehow is weak if you need to ask another mother or father to help you with soccer carpool. And that is complete opposite of the divine feminine. The divine feminine is coming together in sisterhood. And it is saying that we do this together. And that is an aspect. There's like creating a container, a safe space and a safe container for women, for us to be real and to share what's true and to connect. And it's been super important for me. I told you, I had, very big corporate job, and then I started this business, and I was very much doing it in the masculine, and doing it alone, and I don't need anybody, and I'm not going to collaborate with anyone. I don't trust other women. I don't trust anybody else. I'm just going to do it myself. And then I had a period of a few months where I not only had a miscarriage, I lost my dog, and my stepson went into the hospital in and out for 3 months. And I broke down. My entire nervous system fell apart. I had what I think was a bit of a nervous breakdown. And my saving grace, the only thing that helped me, was that I had this 13 moon sisterhood that I had kind of abandoned because I was too busy doing my own work, my job, and leaning into them and letting them support me and having a safe space where I could be real and where I could lean in. And so a key to the divine feminine for you is really think about where in your life do you have safe space to connect with other women and to be real. And what happens when you're real and you share truth and you no longer have to put on the mask and you no longer have to fake it, is then you actually can heal and grow. And the other thing that happens in sisterhood is having women who mirror what's wonderful and amazing and beautiful about you, so that you feel alive and capable and like you can really go conquer the world. And so a key aspect of we were never meant to do this world alone. Never meant to do this world alone. And thank God Stacy's down the street, because she has taught me how to lean in and practice this feminine superpower of sisterhood.
Yeah, I also want to add, thank goodness for this technology. So we're using right now something called Zoom technology. And every 2 weeks, Karen and I, we're grateful that we live down the street from each other, but most people don't have that, that soul-to-soul connection in their lives locally. But we meet every 2 weeks in our sisterhood that we went through with 13 moons. Later today, I will be gathering in, using this Zoom technology to be able to tap into my sisters. So they give me strength beyond measure.
And I see in the chat, a couple of people are sharing, like Stephanie, you too were told that you're too energetic. And now you know that your energy is your superpower. And that sense of like, you are fiery. I happen to know Stephanie, and if you can see her, she's got like this bright red fiery, she's like fiery. And that is like primal wild woman energy. But like somebody wanted to tame that. Oh no, don't bring that up here, right? And so that energy, like that's very divine feminine, to be in your primal wild nature. And reading from Denise, the realization of being in the routine and the mundane. And I know a lot of people feel that, and co-creating with the universe and being intuitive. And it's only when we start getting real about this stuff with each other that we actually can heal and can grow and can live in that powerful feminine, just in power like we desire to.
Yeah. Thank you, Denise, for sharing that. It reminds me of this concept of anyone's ever said, oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're crazy. And a lot of times our feminine superpowers, which, our divine feminine superpowers, they might seem crazy to the world, but they're not. It's like conjuring up courage to be that crazy, right? Like I would say to my husband, I think we should meditate even for 5 minutes a day. A couple years ago, I think this would be good for our relationship. Oh, hooey, wooey, wooey is what he would say. He's a scientist. And now the science has caught up with ancient wisdom. He's now reading papers. And so now he's meditating on his own. He's taking a meditation class and we're meditating. And it was like, well, honey, I told you that. My intuition knew that. Right? Oh, that's crazy. Well, no, it's not crazy, right? Or being fiery or whatever our natural essences are. Right? So part of why living in the divine, living in the divine feminine, the reason why we specifically are talking about embodying the divine feminine, because it allows you to take a stand and to stand in your power no matter what, because there are going to be people out there who are going to try to, even not intentionally or lovingly, try to shift you out of it. Maybe just out of their own fear, out of love for you. Oh, are you sure you don't want to get a job, honey? The other thing I want to mention is that Kira and I happen to have both left corporate America. But I just want to pause for anyone who is in a corporate job or is in a 9-to-5 job to just present how important it is for you and embodying the divine feminine is, and feminine wisdom to be in those systems now more than ever. So if you are in those systems, that is needed. Feminine wisdom, feminine leadership. And that could be found, and when I say feminine, I'm not talking about just women, it's an energy. So men can have feminine superpowers and we can have divine masculine. I mean, it's really about this marriage of divine masculine, and moving out of the distorted. And so
each one of us has both. We all have both feminine and masculine energies, and true sovereignty is the ability to kind of have that intermarriage of both. And it's so funny right now is that time of New Year resolution, and everybody's like, I'm going to the gym every day, I'm doing this every day, and like action, action, action. And and then 90% or something of that effective New Year's resolutions fail. And it's because what was missing, that's divine masculine. Do. I love it. And I'm a doer. What's missing is the feminine of really like grounding into that and letting that kind of expand and seed and say, well, why do I want to work out? Like, what is it about health? What does health mean to me? What do I envision as a whole healthy body? How will I get support around this? What will make me successful at this? And that's the feminine, is like this fattening up, if you will, or when I'm talking about weight, that's not what I mean, but you know what I mean? It's like this expansion of the seed so that you are not just taking action, but you're taking inspired action. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a perfect segue into the second key aspect of the divine feminine that we wanted to share tonight, which really I talked about earlier, is around, I use the word intuition, but another divine feminine tool is heart knowing. And again, I talked earlier about like attuning and aligning, and really attuning to your heart knowing and having that solid truth of who you are as a woman. And then there's this other layer that goes on kind of on top of it, which is structure. So that's kind of a fourth aspect of the divine feminine, is structure. And so having structures and practices and tools in place to help you remember, which is kind of a bonus fifth aspect of the divine feminine, is remembering.
Yeah. I love that you're saying that, Stace, because this is so much, and again, the whole New Year aspect, maybe it's just on my mind right now, but there's this whole like, new year, new you. And no, it's, the truth of who you are is there and has always been there. It's that we forget because we're all trying to get ahead in the world. We're trying to fit in. We're trying to do whatever it is, that's going to make our parents happy, or make your 5th grade boyfriend happy, or make your teachers happy. And so it is this remembering. And for me, I think that the key to the divine feminine is that there are feminine strengths, right? The feminine in our society is often considered weak. And there are feminine powers, strengths, and we've mentioned a few tonight, right? The ability to slow down and be in stillness, the intuition, the unconditional love, and coming from a place where we really kind of are mothers to the universe. That wild, the muse, like really being creative and being sensual and inspiring. Like, that's the feminine. That's the feminine. And I like to think of it as that there are all these varying tools, or these varying archetypes is kind of a funky word, but varying feminine powers, if you will, feminine strengths. And each one of those feminine strengths is in each of us. And the way that we become our fullest version of ourselves is to be, or remember and allow ourselves to be, the whole woman. All of those things: mother and friend and sister and wild woman and protector, fierce protector, in this as a whole woman, all together. And this is what happens when you exercise, when you're in sisterhood, when you really are, as Stacy so mentioned, living in alignment with your heart and soul. You become that whole woman. And the reason so many of us are feeling exhausted, or maybe for you, you have felt lost, or you have felt like something's missing in your life, that is because, what I notice in myself and in my clients and is because we haven't allowed ourselves to trust and be grounded and centered in the wholeness of who we are and in that truth. We haven't allowed ourselves to both attune to our heart and soul, and then to live according to our heart and soul. And when you do that, you feel expansive. You feel free. You feel alive. It's like this is what Stacy was saying, going from the mundane to the magical. Because you suddenly don't have to know everything. You trust that you can take leaps of faith. You trust in your heart. You trust in your intuition to live. And to live fully. And there's this feeling of freedom and expansiveness. And Stacy and I, like we said, we worked with our mentor, I think going on 3 years ago now. We've been doing this, going around the moons. And each of us saying yes, not knowing each other, not knowing. And we have continued over the last couple of years. We're no longer working with our mentor around it. But this work has been so powerful for us. Every moon, we continue with our sisters. Stacy mentioned, we come together in a Zoom just like this. Every moon, we embody a different feminine power. And the moon we're in right now is the goddess of compassion. And seeing compassion as a strength. And sometimes compassion as a weakness is you let everybody run all over you. Compassion as a strength is like fierce love, and being able to be compassionate with someone and still have the boundary, I'm compassionate with your position, and I'm still not allowing you into my inner circle or into my life. And I can, stay.
Yeah, well, I'd say that another piece of that is around judgment. Mm-hmm. And getting still enough, and we do this, in sisterhood, we gather we witness of each other. Is where are we judging? Where are we not allowing, not accepting in ourselves and in others? And each moon, when we go through these different practices and tools and qualities, we give ourselves permission to be human, to say, oh, yeah, I've been judging my husband. I have not been accepting this. and then creating that space to release it and to allow compassion and love in.
Which
So
because
it's always kind of attuning and a realigning to our true essence, which is love.
This work has been so powerful for us. I mentioned that Stacy and I have been dreaming up, how do we gather women around this for the last couple of years? And we'll sit in we each have like a temple space in our houses and dream it up. And it became just clear to us in the last few months that this work has created such freedom and such strength and courage, such joy for both of us, that we have to take women through the 13 moons. It was like our mentor took it through us through it. We've continued with our sisters doing it. Every moon we still get together on the new moon and the full moon with our sisters. And it's been so powerful. We're like, we have to take women through this. Like, and so we have been dreaming up and envisioning, how do we take women through the 13 moons? And so we are calling in and inviting any of you, any woman who's out there in the world who wants to have this experience of learning about and embodying these each of these different feminine strengths and feminine superpowers, to join us in a journey called Awaken. And we are so excited. We've been like, literally, I think it was maybe a year or 2 years ago, we were like, okay, are we getting ready for it yet? Are we there? And we would seed and not just jump into it. And so we're super excited at the end of this month, actually with the new moon that comes on January 28th. I should have looked up the date. We are going to begin taking women through the 13 moons. And each moon we will embody one of these archetypes, one of these feminine superpowers. And the embodiment is both learning the tools and the embracing the qualities. Like the first moon is the Great Mother. And often we talk about God, and I love God. And some of you might be universe people, you might be source people. The Great Mother is the idea. It's she from whom all of our souls came. And the Great Mother reminds us that each one of us is capable of unconditional love. And of course, it allows us also then to say, ouch, where am I conditionally loving? Like, where am I being this way with my husband or with my clients or with politicians per se? And how do I come back into alignment as first of all, allowing my human self and the woman that I was born to be? So beginning with the new moon upcoming, we are going to be taking women through this 13 moons, and it's 13 moons. So this goes from now until January of 2018. And we'll be gathering on the new moon to open up to one of these feminine strengths. And then we'll be gathering again in the full moon. And in the new moon, we will open up to what this superpower is and what she's all about, and doing practices on the call to embody her. And then on the full moon, we get back together and we share how she is showing up in our lives and what we're struggling with in reality. Because like Stacy said, in order to embody the goddess of compassion, you have to look at where you are being judgmental and not compassionate. And we are going to be giving tools and practices to expand into it on the full moon. And then each moon, one of us will be meeting with each woman who is journeying with us one-on-one. So you'll work with either me or Stacy each moon, and it will switch off because we have very different energies, but they work together so that you can deepen and expand into becoming and allowing yourself to be the whole woman that you really were born to be. And we are just so excited to be on this journey. And one of the most beautiful aspects, it's coming together in sisterhood. It just is, we're doing this call, but it's like, on steroids, because we'll all be communicating and sharing, and we will get in touch for each one of us, what is true of our heart and soul. You will get in touch for each feminine superpower. What is yours of that feminine superpower? And then we get together physically. We will get together physically on retreats. Some of you know Stacy and I love retreats. So we'll be doing 3 retreats throughout the 13 moons to deepen and embody in as her.
Yeah, and I wanted to share, we talked a little bit about compassion and great mother, just some other aspects of the divine feminine that we go through in 13 moons. We mentioned unconditional love, there's stillness, there's freedom, liberation, there's sovereignty, setting intentions, there's playfulness with the muse, there's self-love and passion, clarity, wisdom, really embodying the wise woman, synchronicity and connections, collaborations, and then also releasing what is in your life that you need to release. And another piece of the divine feminine is that there's only so much we could do with our minds, right? So let's say we're releasing in our minds. And this is what my mentor described the 13 moons for me. It's like the mind can only take us so far. And each moon, it's really like we go into our bodies, and this is a shift at a cellular level. And so one of the aspects of the divine feminine is releasing. It's not just like releasing things that no longer serve you. It's like releasing things that got stuck in your body that really needs to just get out of your body that you can't do with your mind alone. And then the 13th aspect is celebration, and just celebrating life and enjoying all that there is to be, celebrated about being a woman and living at this time. Even when the world seems mad, it's like we need to show up. And I'm sure we all know this with the craziness going on in the world. Like, now is the time to show up and to celebrate what is good.
Thanks, Stacey. What I love about everything you just said, it's like we told you that there's so much to share about the divine feminine. We could go on and on and on. And so the reason we want to invite all of you to join us for 13 moons is because there's so much. And the idea of each moon, by the end of the 13 moons, having embodied all that is whole as a woman, and within the 13 moons, allowing yourself to get out of your mind, and we'll teach you tools to do that, to actually go into your body so that you can attune to what your soul is actually saying, and then find that alignment of heart and soul. And of course, doing it in sisterhood. Stacey has shared in the chat, and we will email to all of you the invitation to join us to awaken. And knowing that we were going to do this call tonight, we wanted to offer a special gift, a special opportunity to any of you for whom this resonates and that you feel called to join us in this deeper journey. We want to offer to you and invite you to an additional something that we want to offer to you for being on this call. And it's our first call ever doing this, so as a gift, is we know that right now is a time of New Year, and there's so much pressure to be like, New Year, goals, resolutions, and it's just not doing it in the feminine. So any of you for whom this resonates, and that you do want to join us at the end of for the first moon coming up, we want to offer to you that for doing this with us, either Stacey or I will take you through a divine visioning for the new year. And that will be a private session that 1 hour, sometimes they go to 80 minutes, just depends, with one of us to dream and envision your year ahead. And that's just added bonus for being on this call and any of you wanting to join us. Susan, you're cracking me up. It might just be cheaper to move in with me. So this is my temple space, darling. Move in. Yeah. So we want to open up now to any questions, and it might be questions about what we'll be doing as a sisterhood in Awaken. Might be questions about the divine feminine herself, the divine feminine yourself. And I had put out a question, what is heart knowing to you? So you might answer that. Like I see Lucy said, heart knowing to me is when I bypass the mind and any outside influx to step into my inner power and truly listen to what my heart has to say. Knowing that it's your true essence. Absolutely. That is divine feminine right there, Lucy. And it's not easy. That's why we do it in sisterhood. No, right? Because there's like a million people who want to say, are you crazy? Like Stacey said, or what are you thinking? Or who do you think you are? Or you can't make money at that. So, what questions? And you could put the questions on chat. I can open up and unmute everybody. I just had that on because I was getting background noise. Any questions that you have about the divine feminine, about the aspects that we mentioned of sisterhood, of living in alignment, attuning to your heart and soul, of the feminine superpowers that Stacey so beautifully took us through, from play to passion to unconditional love to releasing. What questions do you have? Denise is saying, remembering. What actions can we take to remember? Beautiful question. Stacey, you looked like you had, do you want me to go or would you?
I'm happy. Oh, great question. So number one, I would say, is gathering in circle. There's something that is magical that happens when you gather in circle with other women. It's almost as if we each have a piece of the key, and when we gather in circle, all the pieces unlock something else, and what it unlocks is the remembrance. And then an everyday practice, a daily practice for remembering, is finding, even if it's 5 minutes, if it's 20 minutes a day, to find stillness. Find stillness. You can do this in meditation. You can do this in journaling. You could do this in yoga, and you can do this with an inquiry. And you can, and so there's a lot of different inquiries, but it can be really simple about closing your eyes, putting your hand on your heart, and asking yourself a question. I'm just slowing down right now to see what question it is that I want to invite you to ask yourself. So it could be a question as simple as, what do I need to receive today? And listening to your inner wisdom, to divine guidance for that answer. You can ask yourself, what is true? What is true? And listening for that answer. So part of the practice of remembering is a practice of listening to your inner wisdom and listening to divine guidance. Listening to your intuition. And so I find the best way for me to remember, because the piece that we haven't talked about yet is about part of the divine feminine is a mystery. So you'll hear words, and each of you will probably hear different words that resonate with you today. And it will come in, you'll hear it, and you might forget it. Because things come out of the mystery and they go back into the mystery. So the practice of writing things down will help you remember.
Thank you for adding that piece too, Stace, about mystery. Any of you ever like come in contact with a woman who like she has a certain mysterious air about her, and she seems comfortable in her skin, and she's able to kind of laugh with the world, but she doesn't take shit from anyone? Like there's like a mystery, and that is like the powerful feminine. And we're all kind of trained to not go into the mystery. You're supposed to know, you're supposed to have a 5-point plan and 7 steps to your biggest business plan. And, it's like, and what happens is we may have a remembering, Denise, and then your brain says, oh, that's stupid. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, that's not true. And so a big piece of it is also learning to really work with your mind and being able to say, thank you, mind. I'm going to send you, to the playground right now, and continue to kind of sit with my intuition and my remembering. And one of the reasons I love, Stacey, that your first answer was being in circle is one of the rememberings that I've had is that I am a wild woman. That I was put on this earth, and a huge part of who I am is to run naked with other women and to dance in tribe and to gather and be a full-on sensual sexual woman. And for some of you, that might make you uncomfortable that I'm sharing my truth. But I was like, whoa, okay, I'm not allowed to do that. So that I thought was like a big secret with me, and I didn't talk and share with anybody. And then Stacey and I were gathering with our sisters, our 13 Moon sisters, over the summer, I think it was. And I said, guys, sisters, I got a remembrance. I'm a wild woman. And they were like, well, yeah, we've known that. What are you talking? We've known that. And they mirrored me what they saw in me and what they have seen in me since they met me, and moments of me being the wild woman when I didn't know that I was even being her. And it was like, a huge sense of relief and release that I was seen for who I am and still loved. And not only still loved, not like I'm loved despite being the wild woman. It was like they were saying, I love you because you're the wild woman. And that's why I love, Stace, that you said beginning with gathering in circle, because we can see in each other. I actually was in circle with a group of women last night doing a full moon ritual. And one of them was talking about how closed off she is. And she sees each of us exploring our spirituality and exploring the divine feminine. And I said to her, oh, sister, since I have met you, I have seen the wild. And she came alive. I'm looking over at chat. Julie said, I just heard today that writing things down will actually bring more to memory later. Absolutely. There's actually research behind that. Lucy's saying, where do you plan on having the retreats? Great question. So the first retreat will be in April, early April, and it will be either in the Poconos, we're working on the location, or it might be in my home. And all of our retreats will be in a home. So we'll be renting a home, and so that we have that full time together. So it will be in one of those places. We're dreaming it up right now. The second, and that retreat takes place during the archetype of stillness, otherwise known as the feminine power of stillness, and the divine archetype is called the priestess. She who slows down and allows guidance to come through her. So that retreat is built around embodying her, and coming together in sisterhood as priestesses did for thousands of years. The second retreat is in September, early September, and that is during the wild primal moon. And so to be wild and to be primal, we had to be in a hot location. So we are going to Sedona, Arizona. So we will be, and again, we will be renting a retreat space or a home together. And the last retreat is during our moon of celebration. And the goddess that we will be embodying that moon is called the alchemical goddess. And alchemy, of course, is turning everything you touch into gold. And that's celebration and being able, seeing how you have the capacity and the ability as a divine woman to turn all you touch into gold. And that will be taking place it'll be January, and that will be January 18th. That will be taking place on the west coast of Florida. Again, renting a home for us to be together in celebration. Thank you, Lucy, for asking those questions. And I know we're over time, and I want to honor if there are additional questions, either about the Divine Feminine or about Awaken. And as a reminder, we're so appreciative that you came on this call. I'll tell you, as Stacy and I have been dreaming up Awaken, we began by talking to Stacy and I have been working with a group of women over the last year in a different program. And so we began simply by talking with them and talking with a few clients, and more just on a one-on-one. Hey, we're doing this thing. Are you interested? What do you think? And what simultaneously started to happen for both of us is that other women in our communities were bringing up these concepts and talking about it. Like on this call right now are two of the women who study positive psychology with me in a certificate of positive psychology class. And Denise is one of them. And we have these conversations about, and Brenda is another, I know you're on the phone. We have these conversations about divine feminine and about deepening as a goddess. And Stacy and I looked at each other and it was like, wait, there are more women who want this, and to expand out in sharing and connecting around this. Beautiful.
Thank you. Lucy said, thank you so much. What a joy to spend this time with you, divine women. I can feel my heart beating again. Yay. We are done.
It is enough.
Yes, beautiful. Yeah, it's such a great example of gathering in sisterhood in such a sacred way to get out of our minds, even for a short period of time, to get into our hearts.
So what we'd love to do to, first of all, in the chat, Stacey, will you post again? And we'll be sending all of you the recording. And with that, we'll give you our email if you want to follow up and ask us any questions or if you're interested in the visioning dreaming session and in joining us in Awaken. And we're also, and let us know too, if it's not Awaken, do you want to continue with this kind of work so that Stacey and I can keep dreaming and visioning what this might look like as we gather around the divine feminine? And then I'd love to close out one of the aspects of the feminine. We often just go, okay, bye. And I'd love to even hear if it's one word, like Lucy said, I feel my heart beating again. Maybe in the chat, for those of you in chat, just what it is that you're leaving with. Or if you're on the phone, then jump in. Stacey's just posted, if you're interested in Awaken and the dreaming and visioning session, our emails. And again, that dreaming and visioning session is a gift for all of you, and it's one-on-one with one of us. Susan is saying she's living with positivity. I know Lucy is living with a beating heart. Denise is living with remembering. Beautiful. Stacey, what are you leaving with?
Open heart.
Open heart. Beautiful. Nicole is leaving with love. Well, there ain't nothing better than that, darling. And anyone on the phone, I can unmute you, what you're leaving with.
This was Brenda. For me, it's safety.
Safety.
We could have spent a whole hour just talking about that.
Because it has not been safe to, it is not always safe to talk about this stuff, right? We get afraid people are going to think we're woo-woo or that we've lost our minds. And so creating this safe space that is truth. In fact, yeah.
If I can add, it is the talking about it with other people, but even the safety of feeling these feelings can be intimidating as well.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm leaving with an open mind.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Is that Linda?
No, Loretta.
Loretta, good to hear your
Oh, Loretta. Thank you.
And I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right, Ada, that you're not alone. Oh, you are not alone, girl. You are not alone. What else? Anyone else what you're leaving with?
Erin, what are you leaving with?
I am leaving with deep gratitude.
Mm.
And that came to me after Brenda spoke. You know, for a lot of my life, I felt like I'm weird. That there were these things I kind of knew or felt. And my parents call me their hippie child because I think they didn't know what else to talk about me as. And I was just kind of like the weird one. And so I'm in such deep gratitude that I get to like admit who I actually am now, and that there are other women like right here, right now, who I'm not weird, or we're all weird. Like, I'm in gratitude that we do, like Brenda said, a safety. I'm in gratitude that it is now is a safe time, and women are coming out of the woodwork to stand in our truths.
Wow.
Anahi, what a beautiful name. Saying, love the story of how you always seem to cross paths and we ended up on this journey together.
Yes.
We
Yes,
do too. We are each other's family in Philadelphia. We are lucky, blessed.
Yeah.
Thank you. So with that, loves, Stacy, would you close us out?
Oh, yes, I would love to. So I just want to take this moment to witness each of you that have been traveling with us for the last hour, witnessing all of you who are listening and with us, listening to this recording, knowing that there is such sacred, divine gifts inside of each and every one of us. May you remember, may you continue to remember, may you always remember your inner wisdom, your feminine strength, your feminine wisdom, your feminine powers. And if you ever forget, we are here to remind you. This technology, we are a tap or a click away. Just honoring each of you for leaning in to yourselves and leaning into us, knowing that we are enough just the way that we are, and that your presence is enough.
And so it is.
This would be.
Well, loves, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Stacy. That was such a beautiful closing. I feel like I could sit here all night. Does anyone else like?
Yeah.
So yummy.
So yummy. It's so good. Well, we look forward to continue journeying with you in whatever that way that looks like. And thank you. We love each of you. Have a beautiful evening.
Sending you all much love.
Good night, loves.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night.